You're sitting at a red light, waiting to turn left, staring at the car in front of you. Their blinker is on. Your blinker is on. And for one beautiful moment, they're perfectly synchronized. Click, 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 click. Both lights flashing in unison, like they were meant to be together. Then it starts. Their blinker ticks just a fraction of a second earlier than yours. Then a little earlier. Then earlier still. You watch helplessly as the two rhythms drift apart, sliding further and further out of phase until they're completely opposite, your light flashing exactly when theirs goes dark. It's maddening, it's hypnotic, and you can't look away. But here's the thing, that slow, inevitable drift isn't a glitch, it's physics. It's the unavoidable result of how turn signals have worked for nearly a century. Today we're looking at why everyone's blinker seems to tick at a different speed. Right here on The Small Things. To understand why no two turn signals ever quite match, you first have to understand how they work, and the answer is surprisingly primitive. For most of automotive history, the flashing wasn't controlled by a computer or a precise clock. It was controlled by heat inside your car, usually tucked behind the dashboard or buried in the fuse box. Sits a small metal canister called a flasher relay, and inside that canister is a strip of metal made from two different materials bonded together. This is called a bimetallic strip. When you flip your turn signal on, electrical current flows through the circuit and into that strip. The current generates heat. As the strip warms up, the two metals expand, but here's the trick. They expand at different rates. One metal grows faster than the other. Since they're bonded together, the strip can't stay flat. It bends. That bend breaks the electrical connection, cutting power to the bulb. The light goes dark. With no current flowing, the strip starts to cool. As it cools, it contracts and straightens back out. The connection remakes. Power flows. The light comes back on. The whole cycle starts again. Heat, bend, break, cool, straighten, connect. Over and over. That's your turn signal. The problem is that this system depends entirely on how fast the metal heats up and cools down, and that speed is affected by everything. The thickness of the strip, the exact composition of the metals, the ambient temperature inside the car, the voltage coming from the battery, the resistance in the wiring, even how old and corroded the connections have become over time. Federal regulations say turn signals must flash somewhere between 60 and 120 times per minute. That's a huge window. One car might flash at 65 beats per minute. The car next to it might flash at 95. Both are perfectly legal. Both are working exactly as designed. But they'll never ever sync up for long. Even two identical cars rolling off the same assembly line on the same day will have slightly different flash rates. Manufacturing tolerances mean that no two bimetallic strips are exactly the same thickness. No two flasher relays heat at precisely the same rate. The differences are tiny, fractions of a percent, but fractions are all it takes. If your blinker flashes once every 0.9 seconds, and the car ahead flashes once every 0.91 seconds, you'll start in sync, but after 10 blinks, they'll be a full tenth of a second apart. After 100 blinks, they'll be a full second apart. That's the drift you watch at every red light. Two rhythms that start together, then slowly, inevitably, peel away from each other. Modern cars have started switching to electronic flashers instead of thermal ones. These use solid-state circuits and transistors to control the timing with much more precision. But even electronic flashers aren't perfectly synchronized across different vehicles. Different manufacturers use different timing chips, different software settings. And there's still no incentive to standardize. Because from a safety standpoint, it doesn't matter if your blinker matches someone else's. It just needs to blink within the legal range. There's actually a term for what you're witnessing when you watch two signals drift in and out of sync. Physicists call it beat frequency. It's the same phenomenon that happens when two musical notes are slightly out of tune. You hear a wobble, a pulsing that speeds up or slows down depending on how close the two frequencies are. With turn signals, you see it instead of hear it. The closer the two flash rates, the longer it takes for them to cycle from in sync to out of sync and back again. If two signals were ever perfectly matched, they'd stay synchronized forever. But that almost never happens. The universe just doesn't work that way. So the next time you're stuck at a light, watching your blinker slowly divorce the rhythm of the car ahead, you'll know exactly why. It's not a glitch, it's a tiny strip of metal, heating and cooling at its own pace, answering to no one. 100 years of automotive engineering, and we still can't get two lights to blink together. I hope you enjoyed this slice of accidental physics. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to The Small Things. For more stories about the world hiding in plain sight, thanks for watching.